Here is a quick overview of Attio, and this is a real-life instance of Attio that we use at the Workflow company, and I thought it'd be helpful to show you what it looks like and how it's set up, and then maybe the sort of the key components of the CRM. So you can see that compared to other CRMs, I think Attio is quite clean, and it's minimal and uses sort of the right colors to really show information in a more digestible way. So you're looking at the company's object or records of companies. And so I think with all CRMs, they're really, at the end of the day, sort of like relational databases, right, that are specifically tuned for go-to-market. And so you have this concept of objects, which is like an entity. So a company is an entity, a person is an entity, a deal might be an entity that has its own properties or attributes, right? So a company might have its name, you might have an employee range. You might belong to certain categories, multiple categories. You might have a LinkedIn profile, right, and a bunch of other stuff, as you can see here. And there's similarly, right, to companies, there's also people. There's deals that will have their own attributes. So for people, for example, if we go here, you might have the person's name. You might have the connection strength that we have with that specific person. When was the last email interaction? What was their LinkedIn? What else is there? Let's see. Maybe their job title, if we have that information available, right? So these are properties or attributes that you would tie to a person, right? And so those are sort of the objects that you have. And what's really cool about Attio is that even as sort of the lower tiers, I think it starts with a pro plan, you can create your custom objects, right? So you can create a new object. So for example, if you run a SaaS and you have this concept of customers and then like workspaces where you might have a bunch of users from the same company that share a workspace, you can activate those, right? Or you can just create an entirely new custom object. So for example, if you have a product line, right? If you have multiple products and you want to tie that to your users and say this user uses X product or Y product, you can create a new custom object called, there we go, products, right? The single noun might be a product. And you can add different attributes to it. So for example, you might say product name, right? That might be required. It might have to be unique. You can select that. Or you might do something like, not number, but let's say currency, right? So you might do like price. Or you might do things like, let's see, relationship, which is also interesting. And it's a relationship between different objects in your CRM. So you might say, you might have a product and you might have, let's say, we don't have the user's object right now, but let's say people. So you can say one person can buy one product, right? Or let's say that many people can buy one product. If you're selling a tech product that can scale, right, to multiple users, then this is probably sort of what it might look like. Or you might say one person might buy multiple products, or multiple products can be sold to multiple people, right? So you can set that relationship here, similar to how you would set that relationship to, let me show you, people, right? So a specific relationship here is companies. So if you look at this, can I show you this? Maybe not actually. But every person is going to be associated with one company, right? In a sort of full-time role. And so you can have sort of a one-to-one, a company can have multiple people, right? But one person can only have one current company that they work for. And so in this case, you would have a many-to-one relationship where many people belong to one company, and the one company can have multiple employees, right? So that's like an example of a relationship in a CRM, right? And that definitely applies here in Attio, and I think it's worth noting because Attio is really strong on sort of this custom object modeling and setting relationship between different objects, and that's sort of I think a key benefit of using Attio to really customize the different objects that fit your business context, right? Whether it's products or, in my case, I have LinkedIn posts and LinkedIn engagements as objects because I do a lot of LinkedIn posts, right? So I might bring in all of my LinkedIn posts, which are here. And then you can see that it has a one-to-many relationship with LinkedIn engagements where you can see, sorry, it's a little bit slow. We have all of these LinkedIn engagements, right? So someone might have left a love, and then this is also tied to a person. So we can see that Michelle loved this LinkedIn post, and so on and so forth, right? And this gives me a lot of ideas around who to reach out to if I were to start a conversation around potentially, using the Workflow company services. Cool. What else is there? There are tasks, so you can leave tasks on any companies or people in terms of like what we can do. There's also notes that we can leave on people and companies and other objects. There's emails. And then there's calls. So Attio has its own call recorder, so we can do that. And then there's workflows, which is sort of your automation workflow builder. So for example, I have a quick workflow here where I can create a record, or sorry, when a record gets created, when a new LinkedIn engagement gets created, it gets automatically added to a list, right? And a list is probably another thing that we should probably touch on, which is that a list is basically, think of it as like a basket where you can put in different records, like whether companies or people, right? You can do it manually or automatically, programmatically. So you can like select a person and then you can add them to this list here, as you can see. And a list can have the same person multiple times in the list. And based on the enrollment into a list, you can trigger another automation. So for example, I can say, for everyone that gets added to this list, send them an email saying, thank you for engaging with my LinkedIn content, or whatever it is, right? It's fundamentally different from like a view in that you have to manually add and subtract and remove people from a list, which gives you a lot more control over, who do you bring in to that list, who do you take out, versus just like a filter, which you don't have full control over, because a filter is just like a view of people that you can filter out based on, any of these attributes that you have here. You can also look at records in, let's see, you can create new views. So you can do a table view, like a sheet, right? Or you can do a Kanban view. So if I just call that Kanban. And then you can have the columns in the Kanban based on a status attribute. Although for people, I don't have anything here, so it's a little bit difficult to show you that. But maybe I can show it to you here. Nope, just kidding. Can't show it to you here either. But I can show you my deals object, which has that Kanban view, right? So you can say like no stage, lead, disqualified, in progress, won, lost, churned, right? So I think that is a quick overview of Attio and its sort of core functionalities, and a little bit of a dive into objects inside your CRM. Hopefully you found this helpful, and definitely let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.